I got reddening. And I got gold as well. So, I also pulled a challenge, and advice, and an outcome card, so we'll get to that. So, there is some kind of sour note that you're feeling. So, okay, you could be in a situation where there's just something, this kind of is in my other reading yesterday, but something you just can't ignore. It's like something left a bad taste in your mouth. Like, that's what I'm getting. There's something that, like, really got to the core of you. And these two cards talk about the heart. So, reddening talks about the heart chakra, and so does gold. Gold also talks about the heart chakra as well. And what I love about reddening is that it also, for me, feels like it's connected to the root chakra. So, what I'm seeing is that you could have felt like you were disconnected from yourself in some way for a little while or for a long time, just depending on where you're at. It could just been a short time too, so like just put it where it goes. But I'm seeing that now, like, okay, I was seeing your heart chakra be online mostly. And then I saw there was some situation that was like kind of closing your heart chakra and then also disconnecting you from your root chakra. And so I'm getting that now what's happened through this, I'm hearing alchemical process. What's happening is that you're now feeling more connected to your heart, which connects you more to your root chakra, which is like your stability, your money, your basic needs being met. So there's something that caused, I'm hearing a tower moment that left a sour taste in your mouth. Like vinegar is super like, you know what I mean? Like we all know what it tastes like, right? So it reminds me of like something happening and you're getting a bad taste in your mouth. And for some reason, I don't know why that would connect you to your heart and your root, other than maybe you were in a situation or still are or dealing with something or somebody where you felt like something was off, right? But you couldn't quite put your finger on it. Okay, because also it took me like so long to find this card in the book, and it's like so weird because I kept like looking and looking. I even went to the beginning of the book and like, where's the vinegar card? Like I can't find it, right? And I think that what that was telling me was, or what Spirit was trying to show me, is that like it may have taken you a long time to realize what this sour taste was, or what this thing was that someone was doing, or something was where something was happening where it was like you were trying to find it, but you couldn't. So like that reminds me of like the fog, right? I'm seeing fog. So you could have felt like you were trying to figure this thing out, right? This person or the situation out, but you couldn't find what the key was to kind of like turn it, to kind of like open up, to understand it. So like you could have been chasing truth, knowledge, something to click. Like that's what I'm saying. It's like a clicking, right? And then you found the clicking, right? Like, and I was like, oh, that makes so much sense. Like, I don't know why it's coming through very metaphorical, but I hope that it makes sense. You needed this sour note. You needed this. Like, you needed it to, some type of truth, some type of painful understanding, some type of sour taste in your mouth. Like, you needed to have that to kind of connect back to your heart and connect back to like, okay, now I know this and now I can kind of move forward. And your challenge is Pluto. And Pluto's about power, can be about power dynamics, can be about addictions. Talks about the underworld. It talks about things that are hidden, right? So like for that to be your challenge, right? Like this is the challenge is letting the sour taste stick in your mouth and letting it kind of like transform you. I feel like this is I'm getting mixing up metaphors, but whatever. This is about realizing the power dynamics that you've been in. So like, okay, like let's say I'm gonna give you an example. Let's say you're in a relationship, okay? I need to breathe for a second because I feel like it's a lot. I feel like intense energy for some reason, and I feel like it's I don't know why I feel so intensely. I think that whatever situation you're going through is really intense. Emotionally intense is kind of what I'm feeling. And there's a lot of ups and downs, right? And we're talking about power dynamics. So there could have been someone in your life that you felt like had control over you, or like had some type of power over you, felt like they were in a position of power. It could be a boss, like even for some of you, and you felt like kind of like helpless to figure out like why that was happening, or like what in you was like responding to that kind of I'm hearing assertiveness, but also I'm just seeing like a really strong like power dynamic exchange with you and another person. And it could have been causing you a lot of pain, and you're trying to figure out why you kept getting a sourness in your mouth when you dealt with this person, okay? But you couldn't figure out why. Like you could, but like it was hidden, right? So getting that this person really is good at like fogging things over, or like not wanting you to see the power dynamic in the situation. There also could have been addictions from another person, or addictions within yourself that was like responding to this dynamic in some way. Addiction, it doesn't have to be an addiction. It could be just like a codependency, or it could be, I'm trying to think of what I'm trying to say. There was something responding in you to this person in a way that was like showing you a wound that you have. So like, okay, so let's say you're in a relationship and there's power dynamics going on. You're feeling kind of like at the mercy of this other person, right? But the only reason that you feel at the mercy of another person is because of like a past trauma, right? So like maybe you had a parent that was like super authoritarian, super maybe aggressive at some points, could be, but very stern, could be stoic even too. So like for some of you, I'm just like getting a kind of masculine, very like heavy. So when you were younger, you have to survive, right? So what you do is that you acquiesce, right? You can become a people pleaser. You can walk on eggshells, kind of like not really knowing how to, I feel like that intense energy again. Not really knowing how to, so here's the thing. So what I'm really feeling is that there's something from childhood that was affecting a relationship that you have or have right now, had or have, and it was bringing out this core wound in you to heal, to be able to see the power dynamic. That's what left a sour taste. Some truth came out about this power dynamic. Something that you saw like they were doing on purpose. Something came to light, or is going to come to light about this person that made you go like this is what it's really about. Like this is how they really feel. Because sometimes, like I talked about this in my last video, sometimes we can put fantasies over people, or not see things clearly, or see things distorted because of like a childhood thing, or even just like a past relationship. Any kind of unhealed pain can distort your present moment, can distort your present relationships. And so I feel like you were in a relationship. It could be a boss, a person, a family member, like it doesn't matter what it is, but you were in a relationship with someone where there was clear power dynamics going on. You could have felt this, but felt helpless to change it. And it's a challenge because you have to kind of, act differently in the way that you haven't acted before. And that's what this transformation, I feel like maybe that you've been in, has been about, is about changing the dynamic. Like you have every ability to change this dynamic, right? You do not have to be in a place of not feeling powerful, right? And I think that what this sour taste in your mouth was realizing your own power, right? And also realizing that this person was putting power dynamics on you, and putting, I don't know, it just feels like super heavy, kind of like a push-pull energy for some reason. They wanted you to be a certain way, or act a certain way, or like be indebted to them, or it's like something really sticky and shadowy, but like you couldn't put your finger on it. And I definitely get that you are finally putting your finger on what this is, and like why it affected you this way. And like a lot of these answers, right? Like when we go through something like this, right? A lot of these answers don't come until after like you've been through it. Like sometimes answers come like way after the things have ended, right? And so I don't know if you're dealing with this right now, or if you've dealt with this, or whatever's going on, but it does feel twofold. Like I feel like there was a situation in your past that's being triggered by this, a core wound. I feel like there's a present situation that could have been going on recently, or is going on right now. And what I love about this is that the outcome is separation. Like and if you're really wanting to be like, let's say, okay, if you're in this type of situation, you're not going to want to be in this situation. You're going to be like, okay, how do I get out of this? I may love this person, right? But like, I don't want to be in a relationship that has power dynamics at all. Like, I want to be with someone that I can collaborate with, not where someone's holding some type of real or imagined power over me. Like, I don't want to be in a relationship like that. So if you're in something like that, what the outcome is separation. Like, you're separating from this. So if you're feeling, I don't know if you're feeling doubt. I don't feel the doubt as much as like you're just trying to kind of prove to yourself that you can kind of do this. That's kind of what I'm getting. Maybe you were feeling a lot of doubt before, not making moves, but I definitely feel like you've been making some type of movement. Could be small steps every day to kind of separate yourself from this. That's what I'm getting. So the doubt may not be as strong as it was, but I definitely am getting this feeling of like baby steps. Like, that's what your baby steps to separate yourself from this. It's something you've been maybe entangled with for a long time, something that's been a staple in your life, something that has been, just something that you haven't been able to get out of and you haven't been able to figure out, and now you're kind of like getting it. Like, you really are. Like, I definitely feel like there's like this strength that's kind of like resuming in you in understanding like what this was and why it happened, and like, okay, now you're seeing the light. Like, I'm seeing the sun come out. Like, you're getting more information. You're feeling more ready to accept that information, because I think sometimes when we're in positions like this, and let's say it was work, right? Let's just say it was a work situation, and you're getting your whole income from like this boss, right? But they're like holding things over you and they're giving you a hard time, and it's like so distorted, and you're like, well, what's going on here? But I need this job, right? So like you stay, right? And it could have felt for a long time like you couldn't get yourself out. I'm trying to extricate yourself out of the situation because you weren't maybe connecting to both of your chakras to understand, like your heart chakra and your root chakra, to like understand that they're connected, right? One, but like also that you have every ability to kind of provide for yourself and look out for yourself, right? And that was something that was like, I think that person was preying on, right? So people that are in this type of energy in a power dynamic, if they're in like the more like the aggressor, right? Or the holder of the power, right? Which they're not, but like that's what it looks like and that's what it feels like to you, right? What was I gonna say? Crap, I totally lost my train of thought. Great. That looks like a tiger. I saw there's a tiger in this picture. I was like, oh, I've never seen that. What was I saying? Dang it. Okay. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping you know where I was going with that, but if not, I'm sorry. The advice is iron. So the advice is Mars. So iron talks about Mars. So this talks about Mars. So like that's Mars right there. Iron talks about Mars, and Mars is the tower. So like this is your advice, which is kind of interesting. It's almost like I feel like the tower's in your strength, and also the tower is in your advice. It's like, let the tower fall. There's some kind of explosion or destructive. The tower's about foundations that are falling because they're not meant to be standing, because they're built on shaky ground, right? Like, but it's painful. Like every time a tower hits, it's like, ugh, like it's almost like a shock, like, you know, and I feel like the tower is the vinegar, right? The tower's the vinegar. So the tower is like a truth coming out, something that leaves a sour taste in your mouth, an experience that happens that you're just like, ew, like something's rotten. I heard rotten, but I wasn't gonna say that. Off here. Something's off here. Something doesn't sit right with me. And like, that's, I think what Spirit wants you to do. See, I feel both ways. Spirit wants you to see it, right? But Spirit doesn't want you to like dwell on the tower that's happening, right? And I also am hearing like there's another foundation that you have built that you can kind of settle in, is what I'm hearing. Oh, I wasn't getting this before, but now I'm getting it. There's some type of other foundation that you've built, a place, a person, something that's going to help you in this situation. Like you're, how do I say this? You can land Spirit has provided, is what I'm hearing, a space, or you have provided yourself a space, right? With a different place, a foundational space, right? So like that could be a different home or a different transition place, like something, there's somewhere else that you're looking to move that you have had or are creating right now to kind of help you move out of this situation. So like it reminds me of like getting another job before you get away from this job, right? Like, or starting a new project and you're moving away from a person, so you have something to focus on. So like this next space that you're moving into, Spirit really wants to emphasize focusing on where you're going instead of where you've been. And that's really hard, especially if you've been like dealing with something very difficult. And I think that I'm getting this notion of like, a rubber band. So like you've been stuck in this space for, it's almost like you were meant to like close this off a while ago. I heard this in G's reading, so I'm just repeating it, so I don't want to feel like I'm stealing her stuff, but I definitely am getting this notion. So like I heard it from her. She was talking about like a rubber band and like feeling like you're feeling like you were supposed to close this thing off a while ago, and there was all this momentum being built from like you having to close this thing off but not taking any action. And now that you're like taking action, the rubber band kind of snaps and there's all this energy that's kind of like coming back to you. So what that is indicating to me is that there's like energy that you've given this person, energy that you've given to the situation that's now being kind of turned back and faced at you. And I feel like there's justice in the situation. I feel like you've been kind of dealing maybe with the situation for a long time, and the justice is the truth coming out, right? But it's also you gaining your power back, and also learning maybe what power dynamics are, and learning about like what it feels like to be in something like this, what it looks like, what someone does when they're moving in a certain way that like isn't of the light, that's a shadow. And like now you're never going to be deceived in this way again, I'm hearing, but also you're not going to like have to deal with this as much anymore because you've now like transversed and learned this lesson. So like it's been a huge lesson that you've been learning. I think the collective has been learning like this huge lesson, like dealing with people that, again, I've said this before, but dealing with people that are shady and not like just really not moving in a way that's for your best interest or even for theirs, right? Because like when someone's moving like this, right, there's something missing in them that is looking to be healed, right? But they're doing it the wrong way. It's like almost like, how do I explain this? It's like addictions, right? So you have a coping mechanism, right, to stop the pain, right? But it's just not a good coping mechanism. So if you could switch it with a better coping mechanism, it'd be better, right? So this person's using unhealthy coping mechanisms to move in the world to get what they want, and that is causing discord and that sour note in your mouth. But I get that it took you a long time to see it. Yeah, I'm also feeling Spirit keeps wanting to point to, so 6 of Wands and 10 of Cups. So keeps wanting to point to that you have a win somewhere that you're not as focused on because you're focusing on this, which I keep going back and forth too. So I think that's very human and very normal. What Spirit never wants us to do is judge ourselves for anything that we're going through, even being confused, because I was like, hate being confused and I hate feeling stuck, right? But what I've found is that being confused actually helps, like if you can look at it in a light way, being confused actually helps you search for answers and search for answers that are not readily available. And I don't mean necessarily with other people, it can be, but I mean more like within yourself. Like I get the sense that you were completely confused by the situation and really not understanding like what was truly going on. And like that made you dig in yourself for answers, which actually kind of helped you come out on top. So like you didn't sit and just like let this happen. Like you were actively working behind the scenes to figure it out, to heal it, to figure out why you were susceptible to this power dynamic in the first place. Like you were actively like trying to learn the lessons, right? And because of that, because of your tenacity and your ability to keep going and not give up on yourself, and also to want to do things the right way, because I think that's fair, right? I understand that people want to do things that are in the dark, right? I get that. I totally get it. I really do. Like I've been there. I get it. Not in like a power dynamic way, more like in the other way, but whatever. I get it. But that doesn't like exclude you from doing the work. And sometimes people are definitely coming to this earth, in my opinion, and not supposed to learn like the lesson. It's almost like they're not supposed to learn the lesson just so that they like realize how messed up it is to not learn it and how hard it is to not learn it and like what consequences happen when you don't learn it, right? And I feel like you were dealing with someone that was like refusing to do the work, refusing to learn, refusing to collaborate, refusing to pay attention to your heart, your needs, your wants, invalidate you in your experience, right? And that created for you to have to go, okay, I have to do that for myself now. So I'm seeing 9 of Cups. So like, this is like emotional fulfillment within oneself and not needing anyone else for anything to fulfill you in any way, right? But you only learn that through like going through something like this, like really genuinely. Like you only learn 9 of Cups before learning about what it is. Well, like I do. I don't know about everybody on here, but that's how I learn. But I just feel like it's an app thing, okay? Like because it's like learning through lack almost, learning through it being really hard, learning through dealing with these sticky situations that are really painful and not nice to go through. And you've learned so much through the situation. It's just been so painful. And I think that I just want to validate. I don't know. I just get this feeling like nobody has validated you about this because you might have kept this to yourself. I definitely get this feeling of like keeping it to yourself, not really telling anyone what's going on, kind of needing to work through this on your own. Like that is the feeling I'm getting. Like I need to get through this on my own. I don't want to give my power away to anyone ever again. So like you almost like knew in some way, like deeply, that you were meant to work through this alone. And I don't mean like not having help. I just mean like not like just telling everyone what's going on. And you really just needed to work through this alone on your own to be able to say, I did this myself. Like there's nobody else that came in and helped me. There's nobody else that came in and saved me. Like I did this for myself. And I think that that's really important. That was really important in this lesson specifically. It may not be important in other lessons, right? But I feel like it was really important in this lesson specifically to like help you realize who you are, right? In a deep level. So like this reminds me of like remembering who you are, remembering what you came to this earth to do, remembering your soul's purpose. Like this is really like giving that kind of like carving out, I don't know why carving came through, but like pulling out and uncovering all of the stuff that human conditioning has put on us and remembering how freaking powerful you are, remembering how far you've come, remembering what you came here to do. It's almost like I believe this, we go through a process of forgetting how many lives we've had in our soul and all this stuff. And then we get all this stuff gets put on us, right? Like human conditioning, rules, achievements, like working really hard to be graded every day in school. Like it's all about action, right? And it's like we forget like that we are whole just as we are. Like we don't come here not whole, having to get whole. We're whole already. And so this has been a process to me of remembering who you are as a soul, remembering how powerful you are, remembering that you are light, like that you are light. Like that is just who you are. It's who everyone is. We're all connected, right? And I think that's also another thing to say, like, whatever situation this is that you dealt with this other person, I definitely get that you can see why they're doing the things they're doing. You can see what their shadow is. You probably are telling them like, hey, this is your shadow. Like, what are we going to do about this? Like, how are we going to fix this? Right. And they're just not seeing it. They can't. It's almost like they're not ready to see it. Right. Which brings you to a place of like, okay, if you're not ready to admit this to me yet, if you're not ready to see this, then you can't work on it, which means that if you can't work on it, then I can't be here. Like, this is like, that's why separation's in your outcome, because it's not that you don't want to work on it with this person. It's not that you didn't want to work on it. That's not it. It's that they're not separation. It's they're not willing or capable even of looking at this part of themselves, looking at this part of their shadow. Maybe it could just be one part of their shadow, but it's causing so much destruction. Okay, it's causing a lot of destruction in your life and theirs, right? Because if you're connected with someone who's self-sabotaging, right, that's gonna naturally bring out your own self-sabotaging behaviors, right? One, but two, it's gonna sabotage the relationship, whatever relationship this is. It's gonna cause issues. And I think for a while, again, I keep going back to this thing of like, you didn't know what the issue was. Like, you didn't know what it was. It was so deeply hidden. I get this feeling of like, whatever this issue was with this person, it was so deeply hidden, so difficult to see, so hard to pinpoint. But something happened. It reminds me, I'm seeing Mars and Tower again. Something happened or is about to happen that like leaves a sour taste in your mouth that you just can't shake. And I just get this visceral feeling of like, I can't shake this. And I don't think you want to. Before, you could have seen stuff that could have been it, but it wasn't quite it, but like it was problems. You were trying to fix the problems, but like you didn't know the actual problem. Now you know the actual problem and you know that it kind of can't be fixed. And now that you know that, you're able to move forward. And I don't know if you were relying on this person for financial security or some type of stability, but this truth, this thing that came out, or this thing that's coming out, is going to make you realize that this person isn't stable, that this person isn't someone you should be relying on, that this person isn't ready to work on themselves in any way, right? Like, genuinely, I think that if you had a little bit of hope, you would still keep going. And I think that that's what this whole thing's been about. Like, kind of killing all the hope off, right? Which sucks. And it's just like, but here's the thing, like, there's a natural cycle to the way that life moves, okay? There's a death, there's a rebirth, there's a being born, there's, you know, the autumn, there's like a cycle to all the seasons, a cycle to ourselves. We're in cycles all the time, right? We're at the beginning of a cycle, we're in a new chapter, we're at the end of a cycle, we're closing something off, we're transitioning, right? Like, and I think that it sucks to have to separate yourself from someone that you really love, because I do get the sense that you love this person. I don't care if you have a power dynamic. I don't care. It doesn't matter. You love this person, right? And it's really hard to separate yourself from a person that you love. I know. I've been there now too many times, like 2-3 times now, where I felt like just crushed about like, I felt crushed, like this is ending for me and I don't want it to end, but like I need it to end because like it's so much better on the other side and I know it will be, but it's like you have to go through that pain, right? And I think that maybe you're at a point of transition, right? Maybe you're at a point of transition and feeling like you need to move on and I get this feeling like you know it's the right move, right? You don't have any questions about if this is the move anymore you should be making. You know it's the right move. It's just hard to do. I'm seeing the Strength card, so I'm seeing Leo. Yeah, it's like the burden of being confused has left you like feeling so like, I'm hearing discombobulated, not on sure footing. Like if you're in a relationship with someone and you're not feeling stable, it's going to affect every other area of your life. So I don't know if this has been affecting other areas of your life. It could have been definitely affecting your self-esteem in some way. And I think that maybe you were putting, not for everyone, but some people were putting some of their worth into this other person. And I've done that before, so no judgment, obviously. But this was like about reclaiming your own self-worth, reclaiming your own power, like walking into this and being like, okay, like I have been through something so difficult. I have found my way through. I'm almost out. I'm making plans to come out. I'm trying to honor my heart. I'm trying to honor my stability. I'm trying to honor my worth and my power. And that's difficult, right? Especially if you're dealing with another person. So I feel like you're doing an amazing job and keep going. I think that Spirit is just wanting to encourage you to keep going and that there's so many better things on the horizon and there's a better person for you and there's a better work situation for you and there's you had to get to the point of no hope, and that is a really messed up place to be. Like it really is like a painful place to be, of being like, this is never going to be what I want. This is never going to really show up for me in the way that I need. They're never going to approach me with truth and equality, right? Like, because I definitely get that there was like an inequality in the way that the dynamic was working, right? And I get that you were trying to figure that out. I just think that, I think it was hidden for some reason. I think it was really under wraps. And I think that it's really painful to walk away from someone. And I think that a lot of you are. I think a lot of you are ending a relationship. I think a lot of you are ending some of you are ending a career in where you've been for a very long time. Some of you are ending some type of family relationship. Like, dude, it's a lot. Like, whatever this is very intense. These energies, all of them are intense. Like, and I said that in my last reading. So if you're resonating with this, I think it was like walking away from someone who's betrayed you and then, you know, healing the wounds of the present and the past. Like, this is very much this is much similar, and it's a symbolic of like that kind of process that I was talking about. I just feel like this is a little bit more intricate in the way that it talks about like the power dynamics and addictions. And this person definitely could have had an addiction to sex, to alcohol, to like anything, like another person, an ex relationship, having multiple partners. Like it does, I don't know what it is, but it was something, or just a power dynamic, but there was something really shadowy that was hidden from you on purpose that you're now realizing, and it's a lot to take on. It's a lot to admit to. It's a lot to accept. Yeah, it's a lot to accept. It's probably causing you a lot of anxiety, because I definitely am feeling that intense anxiety of like, okay, like what's really going on here and how am I going to get out of this and what's going to happen? And like, okay, like your thought space again, like might be very, very active. Spirit's wanting you to get into your body more, because reddening also talks about getting connected to your body and like Kundalini energy and like getting connected to your breath. And I definitely feel out of breath. So I think that, you know who I absolutely love that does Reiki online? Reiki, and her name's Rachel. So Reiki Rachel, that's her name. And she's just like, oh, I can't even. She's so amazing, and I feel like there's something in there that could help you. There's something about feeling really lonely and not having that many people. Some of you don't have that many people that like are connected with you at this moment. But Spirit kind of wanted that to, I don't know why this is coming through, but Spirit wanted that to happen to kind of let you have, I get this feeling of like needing everything to kind of stop. Like almost needing you to like sit still. So I don't know, you could have had another Tower moment in your life where like you needed to kind of like shut everything off and like kind of sequester yourself away. I'm seeing the Hermit and I'm getting a confirmation. So there could have been another tower that was like, I did not for all of you, this is just for some of you. There was another tower that fell that helped everything kind of like stop moving. Because Spirit needed you to sit still and not needed many other people's opinions around you, which is also maybe why you had to go through this kind of on your own. I'm getting that sense again of like, this needed to be just about you. This needed to be something that you just moved through. This needed to be something that you kept under a wrap so that you didn't have other people's energies influencing you more than you already had this. Because I get this feeling of like, this person had a huge influence over your emotions, your time, your brain space, your thought space, like your emotions, and took up so much energy that they didn't want to have like other people coming in and like mixing it up even more because it was so confusing and it was so intense that like you needed to see this on your own. You needed to get to the place where you could see this on your own. Like I genuinely get that. Okay, I want to get into the tarot because I feel like I'm just going off on the similar tangents. Got Knight of Cups with Six of Cups. Hold on one second. Let me just see what this is. Queen of Wands, 10 of Wands. Cups, Wands, Wands. That's interesting. Because they came out in succession the same way. 7 of Wands, more Wands. Ace of Cups. Yeah, this is protecting your the newfound love you have for yourself. Because I definitely get that there's this like newfound, what am I going to say? Newfound self-love that I'm getting. Like, and you're protecting that. So the 7 of Wands is about protection, defensiveness, like creating boundaries, okay? Ace of Cups is like could be a new relationship for some of you. Some of you are protecting a new relationship. Some of you are protecting your relationship with yourself. Because Ace of Cups reminds me of like self-love. But it also could be a new love offer. So there's something about, for some of you, you're protecting a new relationship. I definitely am getting that. There's something you're trying to protect. Maybe it's the idea of love. It could be the idea of love. It could be a certain person. I don't know where it is for all of you, but there's something about that. What's the 10 of Wands about? What's this? 10 of Wands is about burdens and just a lot of stuff. 3 of Wands, you're worried about, hold on one second before I say this. 2 of Cups. 2 of Cups. The Hierophant. Hold on. The Moon. 7 of Cups. Okay, what is this? Are you worried about on the horizon? So there's a 10 of Cups, 3 of Wands, 2 of Cups, the Hierophant, the Moon, and 7 of Cups. So we've got Cancer, we've got Taurus here. And I'm hearing Leo. So on the horizon, you're worried about on the horizon having this happen to you again is kind of what I'm getting for some of you. Being deceived again. Okay, so like being in confusion, things being hidden. There's something about being afraid of the 2 of Cups, which is like a relationship with someone, and a commitment. The Hierophant's about commitment. Can be. What I'm getting for this one specifically, it's about commitment. You're worried that it could happen to you again. I think that's what this is about. Hold on. Is that what this is about? Hold on. I'm getting that's what this is about. And Spirit wants to remind you that you went through this so this wouldn't happen again. Like this is not something you're going to fall for again. This is like one of those lessons. Like to me, this is like a Saturn lesson. This is a Moon lesson. This is a Venus lesson. Like, dude, there's so many lessons. There's a communication lesson. Like, oh my God. There's a lesson in this that is like so far reaching. I get this feeling that you're going to wake up one day and be like, I'm like a different person. Like, what happened? Like, it's almost going to be night and day. It's kind of what I'm getting for you, which is really insane. But it also makes a lot of sense to me because if you were in this power dynamic, feeling really helpless, not knowing what to do about it for a long time, feeling stuck, okay? For a long time. Then you've been working at it though. You've been working at it secretly, actively, behind the scenes, trying to get out of it, trying to separate yourself, trying to figure it out, trying to understand the dynamics, trying to learn, right? So if you've been doing that this whole time, that reminds me of the energy thing I was saying about G. So if you're doing that this whole time, trying to learn and love yourself and figure it out, if you've been doing that for a long time and nothing's been kind of showing, right? This is that moment. I'm getting this like illumination of your new self, like who you've become throughout this process, because you're not the same person you are when you started it. And I think that that's what the sphere is. It's like, okay, I fell for this once, right? I fell for this once, but it's like, no, you're not going to fall for it again, because this was the lesson. This is why you had to learn it, because you didn't know it before, right? And it's like, yes, okay, the lesson is about power dynamics. It's about claiming your power. It's about discernment. But the lesson is that you have every ability to intuitively understand and know what's really going on. And I think that this was like a process of you trusting that. Like you trusting that the intuitive hits that you were getting about this person were actually on point. And I don't think that you're ever going to be like, again, it's something you're afraid of, I believe. I don't think you're ever going to be like, if someone came to you again and you had an intuition about them that they were not really great, or there was something hidden, or there was like this kind of energy again, this moon energy, right? Where you didn't really know what's going on, you're getting confused. I don't think that you'd be like, yeah, let's keep going. Like, I think that this would be a stopping point for you, right? What's the lesson? That was the lesson, right? Because you maybe have ignored your intuition about this person or this situation for a while. And now you've reaped the pain of that, right? So it's like, no, you're not going to fall for it again. I understand that it's a fear. I totally get that. But I do, Spirit does want to emphasize that, like, that's not going to happen again. Like, I definitely get, and I do get for some of you, this could have been a connection, a past life connection, or a Six of Cups connection, which is like someone from your childhood. Could be from your childhood, could be from a past life, could be from both. As for what some of you, I'm getting both. There was some kind of deep connection here that connected you to this person that was from like childhood or the past, or something from the past that made you feel like susceptible to this type of person. Again, that reminds me of the childhood stuff I was talking about, but it feels deeper than that. It feels like you guys could have had past lives together. It feels like you guys could have, there's something entangled about the energy. Whew, okay, I feel like I'm so out of breath, you guys. It's like I'm sweating and I'm like, oh my God. Okay, is there anything else you want me to say? I just want to, one more. I'm going to pull a little bit more. Whoop, I went backwards on that. That's crazy. You could have felt like you were going backwards for a while. That's something I'm getting. Like, why can't I just move through this? Like, why can't I just get to the other side? Like, you saw the other side, but you couldn't get to it. Okay, yeah. That's what I'm getting. So the heartbreak is over. I'm getting two things with this. The heartbreak is over being indecisive about this person, right? Not knowing what to do. Having always this like kind of like, I don't know what to do about this. I can't say yes. I can't say no, but I'm feeling really I'm getting this splitting, okay? So like, okay. So we have our ego, right? And we have our soul. It's kind of like the best way I can explain this, but it also could just be different parts of you. But so you felt deeply within your soul that you knew what to do. You knew that this wasn't good for you. You knew that you were going to be heartbroken, right? Heartbroken, I'm sorry. You had an awareness that you were meant to end this and move forward. You did. You had an awareness of that. But you also had a different part of you competing, right? That's how we get into the Two of Swords, right? Because we have one part of us that's like, I know what to do. And then we have another part of us that's like, I don't want to do that. That sounds really hard. And I'm resistant to that. And that like just seems too much, too overwhelming, too painful. So that what happens is that you split off. And I definitely get that the pain that you could have been feeling about this person is pain that you were feeling within yourself. So like, you're feeling like this person was indecisive about you, didn't really hold you, was not like yes or no about you. But that was like showing up into the indecision of yourself in some way. So like, how do I explain that? I think I'm explaining it right. I keep getting this feeling of like just overwhelm. So this person was showing you the split you had in yourself. So like the split between your heart and your survival, heart and your root chakra, the split between your ego and your soul, the split between your light and your shadow. Like it could be a split anyways, but I think it's different. It could be different for all of you because I'm getting a bunch of ways this could have manifested for you guys. But the split was the pain that you were feeling, okay, about this person was about this person, yes, but it was also because you were not making decisions in alignment, right? So like, because you're into a swords, you're not able to make one decision or another. So you're kind of like stuck in this weird space of like, I don't feel like I can make one full decision. I don't have one direction I feel like I can go. And that causes pain, okay? Like not being able to have your head and your heart online together causes pain, right? So like, let's say your heart was like, I don't want to do this anymore, right? But I love them. But also then my head's doing this other thing where it's like, no, they're really a good person. No, like they're everything's fine. Like, let's just stay here. Like, it's so much easier. I don't want to change it, right? So like you have this, you have this like splitting up. And I think that what this process was showing you was that there was a split within you before you even met them, okay? And this process was meant to bring your head and heart online together. I also am getting this feeling of like you learning your purpose through this. I'm hearing promise, potential. I hate when people say you have so much potential. I feel like that's saying like you have great stuff, but like you're like really like not doing it. Like, I don't know why that always triggers me. Probably from when I was a kid, because they always said, "Oh, you have so much potential." It's like, oh, thanks. Like, I guess I'm just not using it then. Like, I guess I'm like, whatever. I don't know why that came through. But promise. Probably because I'm like, ugh, I just said you have potential. Okay. You have so much promise, and you have so much, oh God, what's the other word I used? Purpose. That's what I'm feeling. Purpose. I'm like, why can't I figure out that word? Okay, purpose. You have so much purpose. And I think that this was to lead you more into understanding your purpose here on earth. Like, I definitely get that. So like, this is such a catalyst. Like, I know that it's so painful, and I know that it's been so grueling, but because it's been so painful, because it's been so intense, because it's been so deep, the rewards that you're getting out of this are massive. Like, I don't mean rewards as like external. Like, of course that happens, right? Like, we feel better inside and then we start creating better change on the outside. This was meant to bring you into alignment so that you could move in the way that you want to move and complete your purpose. Because I definitely get that, like, this lesson has taught you something about yourself, or multiple things about yourself, and it has taught you that you have power. It has taught you that you can make moves, or it is teaching you right now, right? Because some of you may not feel like this yet, but this is what's happening, right? This is where I'm feeling it go. It's teaching you lessons. It's teaching you your own power. It's teaching you your self-worth. It's teaching you how to be strong. It's teaching you how to be disciplined. It's teaching you about how to follow your heart and your soul at the same time, and what that actually feels like, right? Because I don't feel like, if you're like me, right, then you were not ever taught to maybe follow your own power or be empowered, right? So like, or even what your value was, right? And so this situation was meant to show you that wound and to help you move forward into like loving yourself in a new way, loving yourself in a, I'm hearing fantastic way. No, but just loving yourself in a more full, and I'm hearing boundaried, honored way. Yeah. Okay. Is there anything else you want me to say? I feel like this has been so intense for you, and I feel like I kind of like summed it up in what I feel like is I feel like, okay, what do I feel like? Spirit wants to emphasize that just because I sum up this in a video, right? Like, oh, I like went from beginning to end. That's not how this process worked for you. It was so much slower, so much more grueling, took you so much time. And I think that I keep getting this thing that Spirit wants me to emphasize in readings, is that like, it sounds so simple. Like, it can sound, it's not always, but it can sound so simple to like, the way I'm explaining it can sound so simple, but like, it is not simple in real life. It is not like that. It does not move like that. If you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling like you're not totally getting it, or you're not there yet, or you're like still figuring it out, it's taken all of you. Like, I'm getting this for strongly. It's taken all of you a very long time to get to this point. And to like, if you're watching other tarot readers, to remember that it takes a long time to learn these lessons. It takes so much time. Like, it really does. It can take so much time. So like, give yourself time. I'm seeing temperance. So be patient with yourself. Be okay with going slow. Understand that this is a process, and it doesn't like just start and end like easy. Okay. Like, this is a process. It's going to take some time. So if you're still dealing with this and you're still in the middle of it, or God forbid you're at the beginning, but I don't think you are. None of you are at the beginning. I get this feeling of like middle, end of the middle, or in the middle of the middle of the end, and then like the end. Like, and then like, I get some of you are almost into the new chapter. So like, that's where I'm getting all of you. So just put yourself where you are. But if you're in the middle of this and you're feeling like, oh, I don't know what's going to happen, I don't know how to separate myself from this, this feels icky, like, what do I do? That's okay. That process takes a long time to move through to get to the point where you're like, I know what to do. Because this is really deep. So, like, because it's so deep, because it's so intricate, because it's so painful and intense, and it's also connected to the past in some way, because of that, it's going to take you longer. But also, again, once you learn this, you're never going to have to deal with this again. You're never going to have to relearn it. This is not like a double three, like, unless if you don't learn it, right? Then you'll have to learn it again. But I don't get that. This was too painful. I almost get Spirit was like, here's this relationship, here's this thing that's happening to you, and you can't not learn it. And that's a good thing. But I also think that there's like this other part that Spirit wants to emphasize, is that you're not a soul that, like, okay, the souls that don't want to work on things are not listening to me. Like, I will just say that. And if they are, they're too triggered and they'll click off the video, okay? So if you're still here, or you're just listening to my readings in general, or listening to other tarot readers, usually that means that you're trying to work on things, that you're in the process of working on things, you're trying to figure things out. You really want to be more open to, like, healing and like what shadow is, and like how to move through life easier, how to kind of become enlightened for a lot of you. I know that that's what I am aiming for, not enlightenment maybe necessarily, but just a better feeling of loving myself, having more self-worth, not having to listen to my shadow as much, and being able to deal with it in a healthy way. Like, that's what I really want for myself. So I get the sense that that's what you guys want too. Anyways, I feel like I'm going off on another tangent, but you're doing a great job. Remember that it takes time. Give yourself patience and time and healing and compassion and stillness. I think that's the advice. I know that's really hard to do, but I think a lot of you are already kind of in that space of like, I just need to like take a break, or I need to like get my heart back online. I need to figure out how to love myself like through the situation more wholly and more kindly, because I do get the sense of like, sometimes when you're in a power dynamic with someone like this, their energy can rub off on you and make you feel really bad about yourself, even if that's you. And if you have something in you like that, that's like that has that already happened, then you become susceptible to it. But again, that's what this is about. It was about finding your power, finding that their projection of you you were only susceptible to it because of your past. You're healing this aspect of yourself so that you can't be susceptible to this kind of manipulation or power dynamics. Again, like, genuinely, I really genuinely get for all of you, like, you've learned this lesson, or you're learning it right now, you're on your way out, things are going to look much better from you here on out. It's just taking some time, and just give yourself that time and give yourself compassion. Okay, guys, thank you so much for sitting with me for so long, and if you're still here, I really appreciate you, and yeah, I think that's all I have for you, and I'll see you guys next time.